being a founder is a very different ball. Getting a change, like an experience, has to come from
clarity is important. I think once the
I never worked in corporate before. You have to work like a founder. That whenever you're in doubt, just be bold. Any project in life can affect my mental health is what I thought कि no, ऐसे तो हो ही नहीं सकता.
what actually led you to really understand the importance of mental health?
Because of the work stress, किसी का thyroid up हो गया है, किसी का insulin resistance बढ़ गया है. Plateauing is not normalized. Give your physical and mental health enough.
This is one of the disease that we're living with.
So I was doing that. It's never too
So
late.
never too late to get started. Hi, this is Nitin Dua, your mind, health and career coach. Thank you for all your suggestions that are coming in. Today we have Vidhika Rohatgi. She's been an entrepreneur. She's also been in a corporate when her company got acquired. In this conversation, we'll unpack those aspects with her, both entrepreneurship and corporate career progression. We'll also unpack mental health, importance of health and the role of the mind. We'll also unpack the importance of skills and what's ahead, whether it's resilience or AI and many more. I hope you enjoy this conversation and find value in it. Keep your suggestions pouring in. Thank you. So Vidhika, I think during these conversations, you gave some perspective on, or maybe some view into your career journey.
Yeah.
Of being a design student that you were as an intern, getting into a co-founding relationship,
Yeah.
building something,
Yeah.
really figuring out the supply demand gap, building the next company, and then of course this company that you mentioned was acquired by another
Both the
company.
companies
Both the
were.
companies have been acquired.
Fortune Cookie got acquired by EY and ImaginXP got acquired by College Deco.
Oh, interesting, because I remember back in PwC we acquired a design agency for a very specific niche. I think this also seems like that.
Yeah, same.
But it's larger than that. I think you were around 110 people, as you said.
Yes.
And then you, after the acquisition, you continued to work with E&Y.
Yes, for 6 years.
For 6 years.
6 years.
Okay, fantastic.
Quit just now.
Quit just now. Just in time to discuss.
Just in time to discuss, just a month ago.
Oh, lovely. Okay. So then, walk us through maybe, some aspects of also running as a professional and outside the context of being a founder.
Yeah.
And then growing through there. I think you were last the partner with the firm.
Yes, I was a partner.
I have been in that setup. I see how it works. I've spent more time in the US market than India, but I feel there is still a certain progression that you need to keep sort of be aligned to.
Yeah.
So talk us through that.
Sure.
And also if you can weave in over time, this lens of running that as a woman, because I feel in some sense there's a lot that women have to constantly play roles around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, there is a certain design by nature.
Yeah.
Which I feel is very supportive in the way you embrace life.
Yeah.
And the way you show up, not just as a mother but also in environments. I'm very blessed to be surrounded by beautiful people, including a lot of women and a lot of my daughter. There's so many, right?
Yeah.
So just trying to learn more from your lens about how you look at that side of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Along with the professional side that you mentioned.
Absolutely. No, so see, I think being a founder, right, is a very different ballgame, right? I strongly believe when you are a founder or an entrepreneur, it helps you build your character even more than what it is existingly, because it tests you at very different levels, and the kind of value that you're bringing in as a role, as a founder or co-founder, it spreads across the organization. So it's not just for you, it's for your investors also, it's for your employees also, it's for an overall vision also. So I think that's a very different ballgame. When we got an opportunity to be part of a large corporate, right, and I think we were not expecting it, it came to us, and then we evaluated that maybe what we are doing right now, the kind of impact we are making, it will become 10x when I will go with a much larger brand.
Yeah.
We were one of the top UX design agencies in India that time also,
Yeah.
in 2018. And we thought that we will get that edge because we believe that getting a change, like an experience within any businesses, has to come from top to bottom. If you'll go bottom to top, you'll struggle a lot.
Okay.
But it has to come from top to bottom.
Why is that?
Because I believe that if the owner of that business
Yeah.
understands how important is experience
Yeah.
and tries to percolate the same thing to below, right? Then it becomes a priority. Then that value of design sits at the center of the table.
Yeah.
Which generally doesn't, because when you're dealing with a mid management, right? Because they are only themselves struggling to convince the top management कि नहीं नहीं मेरे इस प्रोडक्ट में ये फीचर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है या इस प्रोसेस के अंदर मुझे ये चेंज करना है, राइट? दैट काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रगल्स हैपन डे इन एंड डे आउट. So we knew that it flows from top to bottom, and doing this kind of acquisition will give us a lot more entry to boardrooms.
I feel like
right?
as you're speaking, like clarity is important. I think once the founder or the top person leading the initiative or the
Yeah.
company
Yeah.
is clear enough
Yes.
in terms of why we are doing this,
is
then it becomes
important.
easier for it to be
Right.
percolated, as you said.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I get
Yeah.
where you're coming
So
from.
I think, and then so I was just saying that being founder is very different, and when you come into a large setup like corporate, of course it's a big wide world. I never worked in corporate before. I was like my own kind of a boss in a way, right?
Yeah.
So of course it was a very different world. It was a different kind of it took a while to embed ourselves.
And you started post acquisition as an associate partner, or what?
I started as a director.
As a director.
As a director, and then I progressed to partner in next 2 years or so. And I was 29 years old.
Okay.
Right,
Early
making
ones,
a
I
partner at an acquisition 29 years, I don't think it sounds
Yeah.
anyhow viable. And more than that, I had to learn a lot.
Yeah, there are very
Because
few. I know a few, but there are very few people.
The very
who
few,
started,
very
yeah.
few, and you coming from a very startup culture.
Correct. It's a different.
It's a different space. So you have to learn. So and when I went in, then I realized that okay, what I have to learn to be
Lovely.
there, right? So I think it was a great stint, but there was a lot that I learned in that 6 years as well, right? How do you bring in people together from different pedigrees of life, you know, and still stand, because yeah, I'm not even an MBA, right? When you talk about consulting, so these MBAs coming in from ISB, IIMs who are partners, right? I'm not even an MBA. So for me to take that leap,
Yeah.
and then to stay strong in that wave of water,
Yeah.
took a lot of I would say willpower, resilience. I faced a lot of failures.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of learnings, because you're so new to dealing with all that stuff. Because by the end of it, as a founder, you think यार मेरे control में क्यों नहीं है, मेरे control में क्यों नहीं है. But after a year or so, I had this realization that you should not work as an employee. You still have to work as a founder, right? And I think that's what accelerated things for me.
Operate like a mindset of a founder.
Yes, because ultimately,
attitude of a founder
because
also.
ultimately you're running a PNL, you're running your own business. It's just in a large scheme of things, and it took me a year to really hit. No, 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 no. You have to work like a founder. You look at
Yeah.
building your business like that, and then you have a brand and you have a lot of allies,
Yeah.
right? So you take
A lot of
help,
resources at disposal. Yeah.
and most importantly, take help. When you don't take help, you end up in being a soup, right? So I think that learning was very,
Can you
very
elaborate
different.
two things that are coming to mind? One is, how do you identify what help to take and how do you seek it?
Yeah.
Second, when you were not an MBA and you were, being constantly surrounded by people
Yeah.
of different age
It
groups.
was different,
You said
yeah.
different pedigrees of life.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
mean different things or could mean. What's your interpretation, and like, how do you lead then such a group?
Yeah.
What has been your experience?
Of course, it felt a little intimidating to start with, to be very honest. It was a little intimidating for me, somebody coming from a design background. But I kept on telling myself that what you know, they don't know, right? Because your niche is what got you in,
Yes.
right? So one thing that I learned from another women leader, and I keep repeating it, that whenever you're in doubt, just be bold. It is a very powerful statement which worked for me.
Whenever in doubt, be bold.
Be bold. Because sometimes doubt pulls you down and you take a step back. Never do that. Always be bold to question. Always be bold to take risk. See, people will judge you. if you do good also, if you do bad also. But at least at the end of the day, you are bold enough to speak your mind.
And you're
right?
truthful enough to yourself.
You're truthful enough to yourself.
Yeah.
So, of course, see, I think it's our mindset, but navigating with people coming from different pedigree, they were not looking at it that way. So, when you are confident, you build that confidence, it's like normal. They are
Yes.
your colleagues only, right? So, I think you learn that.
Yeah.
You learn that. And then empathy comes again into play. Because then you have to think, how are they thinking? How will they understand what I'm doing? How will they, like you were saying, why top to bottom?
Yeah.
So similarly, I had to explain how design will bring value to a large
So you were the top at that
transformation.
time in that sense, percolating your why.
Percolating.
And
So
trying to.
I was evangelizing. My job was to evangelize. My job was to bring value with design. If they're doing a 1x of value, can with design we can make a 5x of value, right? So I think that kept on motivating me.
And what is
And you had to
value? We
navigate.
missed that part, but what is value?
For example, when we talk about customer experience, right? We use quick commerce, for example, these days, right? So quick commerce may receiving an order in 10 minutes versus having a bad experience of what you have received and returning it
Yeah.
is basically, and it happened quickly and your customer is not really burnt, is a value that you're giving to your customer.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about giving value to the business, I'm looking at from a lens of how I build a customer, how I get that business to have customer retention.
So customer experience in a predictable way of delivery at a certain quality in 10 minutes
Yes.
is the value being delivered in
Is
this
the value,
setting. Yeah.
right? So it's like a very small example, but if you look at large scheme of things, you see ki how from a customer lens I'm enabling a business to build a lot more value.
Yeah.
Right? Having more engagement, having more customer retention, and that comes with what I do because I get into customer insights, right? And that's what I have been, doing. So I think navigating is something that you have to figure out. There is no rule book to it. You have to figure out, you have to learn.
I feel you have to build your agency and the level of awareness, as you're saying.
Yeah.
And then consistently, go through it. And practice is the only
And you'll
way.
have bad days. You'll have bad days. You will have. I remember there was a project that I never felt that I could. That it can affect my mental health. Any project in life can affect my mental health. Is what I thought. No, ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं सकता. But then came something which kept me awake for a lot of nights, which kept my team awake for a lot of nights. Very difficult client to work with, and it was the start of COVID, right? That's when I felt a hit on mental health. And then, then you again navigate, then you set rules, then you fight, right? So I think it's a lot of navigation. You learn as you swim through, but you have to look at the positive side. If you have to look at the positives and you have to keep working towards the positive, because if you go towards negative, then you will not like that environment at all. And then I think being a founder also, we had the responsibility to take our team in a way that they can grow. So in all that sense, we did our best that we could, and there was a lot of learnings, and as I was saying, there were failures,
there
were a lot of bad days, but then I learned ki कोई life नहीं खत्म होती है, right? You're not getting insulted anywhere, nobody is judging you, maybe people don't even care, it's just in my mind, so keep working through it.
We'll talk about a trap of the mind.
Yeah.
Also, maybe you can use this example if you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Like what actually, led you to really understand the importance of mental health also in the context of work.
Yeah.
Because, there could be different triggers that come.
Yes.
But maybe in this context, we are talking about work and profession. And then there was an episode which made you realize and see the importance of it. Can you help us understand this a little bit better?
Yeah, absolutely. See, I came from a background where I believe जितना ज़्यादा काम करोगे ना उतना ज़्यादा अच्छा है लाइफ में. अभी 20 घंटे काम करना है तो 20 घंटे काम करना है, and you need people who work for 20 hours.
Yeah.
ऐसा था सबका mindset, right?
Okay.
वीकेंड पे काम करना है तो वीकेंड पे काम करना है, but it is great for someone like me to do it. Why should my employee do it? I have a larger stake. I have a larger responsibility. I should be working 7 days a week if I want to. But why
If you
should
choose to.
if I choose to? But why should other people who are on the salary work 20 hours continuously? Right? Either they get incentivized, otherwise it's like exploiting people, right? Literally. And that's what I learned over time. When I could see that, this is just beyond human capacity of what the world is expecting you to deliver, right? ब्रेन तो इतने ही घंटे चल सकता है ना, क्वालिटी ऑफ वर्क तो एक लिमिट पे ही आ सकती है ना. इफ यू डोंट रिफ्रेश योर ब्रेन यू कुड सी क्वालिटी डिक्लाइनिंग, right? And that's when I saw, like when even we were working, we were not like कि काम किया है तो पार्टी भी करेंगे तो रेस्ट भी देंगे. But then there was a situation where I couldn't see rest at all for anybody. And then I took a hard call and I stood up. I remember there was a night, I stood up to a lot of people in leadership and said, "Okay, boss, nothing doing. My team will sleep today. If let may whatever happen. I know neither is your company going down the drain, neither is client's company going down the drain. But 8 hours of sleep will make my people work better the next day."
Yeah.
So I learned that day that if you want to, you can change the rules.
Yeah.
You just have to stand for the right thing. And from that day till this day, I have never encouraged people working on weekends. Never, ever.
Have truthful, authentic intent behind what
Yes,
you're doing.
absolutely, absolutely. So that's what I learned, that ऐसा नहीं होता यार, that somebody is standing with a knife behind your back कि करो.
Karo.
You need to be ethical. You need to commit to what you can do and be absolutely transparent.
Yeah.
मैंने देखा है बहुत बार ऐसा होता है ना कि अगर कोई चीज़ 20 दिन में हो सकती है तो आप लगे हुए कि नहीं मैं 5 दिन में करके दिखाऊंगा. तो उससे क्या हो रहा है, आप अपना ही नुकसान करवा रहे हो. And we don't realize in this young age, in 20s, but when we hit 30s, that's when you feel that burn coming to you. So I think that's what changed me. And after becoming a mom, and it
वैसे
was
हम 20s में नहीं है अभी.
नहीं है, but मेरा पूरा वर्कफोर्स था.
नहीं I get it.
Yeah, हम तो नहीं है. नहीं, but मैं 30s में हूँ भाई.
चलो कोई नहीं, उसकी बात नहीं करेंगे अभी.
But जो वर्कफोर्स है वो जनरली यंग है,
Got
right?
it.
So yeah, I think mental health matters a lot.
नहीं, absolutely.
Balanced life matters a lot.
Absolutely.
We
Nature
should
has balance, and we should
appreciate it.
appreciate the balance and keep the
Absolutely.
balance, with us. We are part of the same thing.
Because I talk to a lot of my friends, because of the work stress. किसी का थायराइड अप हो गया है, किसी का इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस बढ़ गया है, कोई शुगर बॉर्डर लाइन पे है क्योंकि एक्सरसाइज ही नहीं कर रहे हैं टू टू मेक योरसेल्फ हेल्दी. नहीं कर रहे हैं बिकॉज अरे अभी सुबह उठ के 2 घंटे ट्रैवल करना है, फिर ऑफिस जाना है, फिर ये करना है. आई नो द डिफिकल्ट सर्कमस्टेंसेस, बट समहाउ इन सम वे
Yes.
we have to start prioritizing our
Absolutely.
health.
I was talking to this other well-celebrated founder. He's 81 now. I was speaking to him, and he's listed his company. He's made billions of dollars, like I don't know billions, but millions of dollars. But what he said to me, Nitin, if I can deliver one message through your channel, is the importance on prioritizing your health, which is what we do, and which is why he said,
Absolutely.
I want to be here and do this. And I also appreciated his time, coming from somebody who's spent all these years.
Yeah.
And in fact, he suffered as well, he shared.
Yeah,
At 61, despite being so much money and whatever else people's definition of success has been. And at sometimes, that's what best when you sort of chase that.
Yeah.
But then once you come to that, then you realize what is happening here, right? He realized, my health is all screwed up. He said his father told him, we have given you good genes. तो सब कुछ जो किया है वो आप ही का कराते रहा है. You got to figure out कि कहाँ पे गलती कर रहे हो, and you got to do it. And very interesting and inspiring thing was that he realized at 60 plus that ठीक है यार अभी चेंज करते हैं, अब समझ आ गया तो.
It's never too late.
So never too late to
never
get
too
started. And one of the things that got me started on this particular channel for YouTube was really emphasizing the priority of health, because I mean I have gone through various experiences
Absolutely.
myself that solidified the need for prioritizing. It is not a concept. Yes, I have been thankful to work, improve people's health, but I also saw when I didn't take care of my own health,
Yeah.
whether it's physical, mental, social, financial work, whatever context that you operate in,
Yeah.
it starts to come back, and you're also not able to really unlock
Absolutely.
what you have to deliver.
You don't know, but your body remembers, your
Yes.
blood cells remember, they have the memory. You think you don't, but they know they have been burnt out and they need that. So I have become really big on health.
Yes.
It wasn't the same case a year ago. Of course, I had my daughter 2 years ago, 2.5. She's going to be 3 now, actually. So I had my daughter, and it just kind of changed everything for me. I could see like what my body went through. Then there was this whole pressure of getting back to work. And as a first time mom, I had no clue. I was like, oh, I'll give birth and I'll be able to work. No, it doesn't work like that, right? And it's true for a lot of women. As I had like a very 70% of my team was made up of women generally throughout my life, always, right?
Okay.
And then I saw others also going through that same journey, and I learned a lot of things. My whole priority changed in life, right? After giving birth. So I could see what my body went through. I could see that adding work pressure on top of it was also stressing my body out. More than the mental strength, it was stressing the body out. So it is extremely important to manage that. That's when I started focusing on nutrition. I started studying a lot. By the way, I'm a big Jay Shetty fan. So I keep listening to all these amazing health focused celebs that come and read a lot on nutrition.
Jay is great. I mean, I have also listened to him. In fact, I was reading one of his books also recently.
He's good.
He's good.
Really good. He's really good and gets like amazing people to give you insights.
Yeah.
So I got big on it, that how important physical and mental health is. And for women, and this is especially for women who are out there who are probably, because see, your biological clocks play you, right? And it's true for every woman. So as soon as you hit that 30, 33 marks, it's a big ringer for everybody. And then you are actually going up on your career scale. So it has to plateau. My problem is that this plateauing is not normalized.
Okay.
Right? We should normalize. That's okay. It will slow down a bit for you. It's okay. You will have to attend to your child and you will not be able to reach for a meeting. It's okay. You cannot travel for a year. That normalization has to come from your home and from your workplace, right? And it's easy for me to be in a senior leadership position and say that, but when I have seen people at positions below, I've seen mothers struggling. And a lot of large companies, they support when you're pregnant, right? But there's no support when you come back to work, especially in mental health, especially in terms of counseling. I could see that in a lot of organizations that counseling for mothers who've joined back to work is not there, because that's when that real problem starts. That's when that you really need support.
A lot of self-doubt.
A lot of self-doubt, a lot of being made to feel ki, oh God, I'm not able to travel. Oh God, whether I'll be able to do the sales or not. A lot of that comes in. How much ever strong you are, right? So what I learned was that we as women stress ourselves even more. And when we stress ourselves, we try to set up certain standards कि सब कुछ ही करना है. Career में भी कुछ compromise नहीं होना चाहिए. बच्चा भी fantastically. I was actually seeing this meme that millennial mothers are in their 30s, but they look like their 20s. But they feel like they're in their 80s, which is so true. Which is so true. Because you're actually taking a lot of load on yourself. So that plateauing, that slowing down should be normalized. That's my big give away to all the women who are young moms or who want to plan for a baby, that take it easy. Nothing changes, right? You can run whenever you want to, but give your physical and mental health enough importance and enough time, that takes precedence over anything else.
Yeah, I think certainly a very different perspective. something to consider and think through
Yeah.
for a lot of corporates, a lot
Yeah.
of women, and a lot of men also,
Yeah.
right? I think it's only with discussions like these that we really come to the root of where the problem lies
Absolutely.
and what has to be done for it. And of course, it's an individual choice at the end of it
Yeah.
of what you want to pursue and how you want to pursue it,
Yeah.
and how consciously you want to go about doing that.
Yeah.
But I can see like there is this, and it's very interesting how you put it, like the meme of wanting to be this, wanting to be that, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. I mean, in some case, I was speaking to this a very acclaimed meditation teacher, and one thing that he put out was this is one of the disease that we are living with.
Yeah.
I got to be doing this, I got to be doing
Yeah.
that, I got to be this, I got to be that, and really it starts to then play on your mind. And
So
then
I was doing that.
yeah,
And then I learned that I'm taking a wrong approach in life. No. Prioritize. Either you can prioritize health, your family, your work. कभी कुछ ऊपर होगा, कभी कुछ नीचे होगा. But learn to prioritize. Don't think you can do everything in one go.
how do you get the alignment going? Like how did you do it for yourself?
So I, of course, I'm now out of my previous organization, and one of the trigger was